Hello. Today we are talking about what are we talking about again? Beast, help me out here, would you?
Orbital Bombardment!
Oh, that's right, Orbital Bombardment. It's his extreme and not what I intended to talk about next, but when I went to build it, I was like I have to talk about what I found. This is hilarious. So, I don't know I used the original character that comes with the official character pack as like the template for when I was building Beast. And I've been putting off the extreme because building extremes is my least favorite part of any like power that needs to be built within a mod. And when I got to it, I realized a lot of things. So it wasn't finished. Things were referencing correctly. I don't know who made it. I should probably find out. Uh, so that I know a little better what the fuck I'm talking about. But the code, I think they rage quit because like halfway into the code there was just in big capital letters OMFG and then it was just not finished. So, which explains a lot. See, when me and Jordan, or you might know him as Rampage, were playing on Parsec, as soon as I used the OCP beast, I busted him out. That was it for extremes. The extremes have been dead ever since. This infinite slowdown shit just don't work. So if you're playing with the OCP, be very careful. Beast will murder your game with his extreme because I don't know what was going on with it, but it was not good. So anyway, I rebuilt it. So now it's working. It's orbital bombardment, and you might know that like you're looking at this and maybe you're thinking, oh hey, that's like the thing that Mr. Fantastic does. And no sir or madam, no, the Beast isn't doing the thing that Mr. Fantastic does. Mr. Fantastic does the thing that Beast does. So Orbital Bombardment comes all the way back from X-Men Legends 1. And you know how I know that they were at least inspired by Beast before they put it on Mr. Fantastic, which is perfectly fitting. It was a great idea. It's a great ability for Mr. Fantastic, but within the if you pull apart the effects for his airstrike, it even you'll find an ancient piece called fxbeast.png. Caught blue-handed stealing my boy's toys. Phrasing. Um, but anyway, so I had to like build it from top to bottom, and I got the like the animation that he originally did, pushing buttons from the first game, and then his effect where the screen comes up and button flashes happen like on his hand for hitting the buttons and making it happen, and the lock thing comes up, and so I got that going, and then for the lasers themselves, I repurposed the ones for airstrike from Mr. Fantastic, recolored them. I actually, outside of just like some recoloring, I haven't done anything else to them. I don't know if I will because they look really good, but I've changed the way it functions a little bit. Oh, I also that like glow below him and the swirly bit also come from like a repurpose from Mr. Fantastic. But it functions quite a bit differently. Mr. Fantastic's does about half the damage this one does, because this one does the damage of any other like full damage extreme. But Mr. Fantastic's adds like an XP boost and increases the damage of other extremes to happen within the sequence by like up to 50%, I think. And this one is set up currently to be just straight damage, and I think that's how I'm going to keep it. But I also noticed it didn't have a very good range to it. Like, if you compare it to other extremes, like I compare it to a whole bunch of different extremes, and like, even just like Wolverine's like swirly thing hits dudes that are like way, way, way out there. So this one is like Mr. Fantastic, but it has a further max range. It can hit more. It also, you'll see when it hits guys, they kind of get, like, it stomps them. They just get dropped. It flattens them, right? See how it just falls on his face? So the way I did that was with knockback, but it doesn't knock them back. The way I did that is big dudes that do like, you've probably seen this before, they do their trip, but they do like a hammer fist on their head, and instead of them like doing the trip animation or getting knocked back, they just get flattened. And that's because there's a tag that gets triggered like by an event, or the event triggers the whatever. There's this stop thing is what it's called, and it makes it so that when they take knockback, they don't actually do the knockback thing and just stop in place and just fall down and get flattened. So I repurposed that and I set it up to work with this so that now it looks like they're getting kind of hammered down, because Mr. Fantastics doesn't do anything. It like blasts them and that's it. It also doesn't have a ground damage mod, so if they're laying on the ground, it wouldn't do any damage, but beasts will do damage to guys that are on the ground. I also kind of changed up the... Well, okay, if you look at it, when he pulls up the screen, there's the screen, right? And then it'll say lock on the screen. And right after it says lock is when I set it to hit the enemies. So if we look at the screen, lock comes up, and then blast. So it's lined up with the lock. As soon as the lock's on target, it starts its blast. And the way it does that is it selects enemy 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9. And they're in sequence. And, like 0 to 9, and they're at a slightly different trigger time, so they happen one after the other. But because they were all like directly one after another and in sequence, they were kind of just like really rapidly one after another, and if there was like only a few guys there, you would just get like 3 real quick, and they weren't staggered very well. So I mixed them up. I kept them, well, I changed the times to like spread them out a little more, and I also like staggered them, so it goes like 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7, 4, 8, 5, 9, I think. Oh no, I missed the 0. It's like that basically, so that they come down more staggered, and you don't really notice it, but trust me, it looks a lot better. I think it does anyway. I think it looks great. I might actually stagger them in a different sequence now that I'm thinking. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Well, no, I'm definitely on topic, but yeah, it's again, don't worry about the sounds. They'll come later. I'll get them going. Like that, sounds will be like the last phase of things. But yeah, it's built. It's got no special effects. Like aside from the visual ones, it's just a high damage hammer from the sky, basically. And yeah, it works good. But if you're using OCP Beast, I highly recommend you do not touch the Extreme. I think there are Beast boosters out there. I know, like, mine's not released yet, but I know Outsider has a booster for Beast, and maybe you should get that if you want to play as Beast, just so that your game is safe, because, yeah, I didn't expect to find anything, like, some unfinished things and some unpolished things, sure, here and there, you know, things you can easily, like, fill out, and I did not expect, like, just full-on game breakage. But it was really funny. I laughed for like 5 minutes after I read the code. But I got it working. I'm gonna make like minor tweaks, but this is basically like the finished product at this point. It's yeah, that's orbital bombardment. Is there anything else to say about it? Let's see. Talked about the effects a little bit, and how it's all lined up, and this and that, and yeah, I think that's about it. That's Orbital Bombardment. That's going to be the Extreme. And I had planned to talk about Tackle this time around, but I had to talk about this one because I was way too fascinated by what I found, and kind of like spent like all night / morning, whatever the past 5 hours were, just playing around with this thing and getting it going and making it look all nice and fancy. And yeah, I think people are really going to enjoy using it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, I'll catch you in the next one, I guess.